What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in Australia tonight. Oh yeah, we are going to be checking out 10 foods I'm shocked Australians say differently. Now this is going to be hella interesting. Bear my side checks one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
When I first moved to Australia, I knew the accent would be different, I knew the slang would catch me out, but what I didn't expect is to be sitting in a cafe or a shop thinking, oh, we've both said English, but we mean completely different things. And it's never awkward, it's just one of those realizations that you're not speaking the same version of the language anymore, especially when food's involved. So today I want to walk you through 10 foods I was genuinely shocked that Australians say completely differently to Brits. Maybe shocked is a bit strong. And the first one, I have a personal vendetta against. Number 1, sweets. And I know you probably already know this, but please take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Most of this video is just for comedic purposes. I don't actually have a problem with any of these words. Of course, English will be different wherever you go, but it's a lot of fun deciphering it. Right, this one should not be controversial. In the UK, they are sweet, nice, and simple. In Australia, they are lollies. Bear in mind, I didn't know any Australian English before I met my gorgeous wife, Maddie. She asked me, do I want a lolly? And I thought, a lollipop? Aren't we a little bit old for that? No, of course not. Never too old for a chappa chap. But she said, no, you silly boy. So, excuse me? She said, they're sweets, what you call sweets. So I'm just of the thought of, well, lolly, to me, it doesn't cover every single type of sweet you get. Whereas in the UK, sweets, it covers everything.
So wait a minute. Just thinking about it, there's, well, we call like lollipop. So I'm wondering where the term lollipop came from. Is it an Australian term? Like that specific sweet lollipop?
It's like your English language insurance for candy. I once said candy. Everyone in the comments was very mad. Apart from the Americans and Canadians, they didn't mind. Now, I've since accepted it, but I am still emotionally adjusting to it, and if I'm being honest, the process has been quite stressful. The process has been quite... It's just been a journey. I just want to say I'm so sorry to all my British people that I now call them lollies instead of sweets. The Australians, they've fully converted me, so if you want to know why that is, it's because of them. Also, quick reminder, if this video gets over 30,000 likes, I will be going into the outback, making a few videos out there. So if you want to see me risk my life for content, that's embarrassing to say, then hit that like button. But vegetables is where it gets real.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, for a moment there I was like confused. I was wondering, is this for real? Is this the same video, or did he make an editing mistake and he put the wrong clip in the video? But this guy is trolling, man. He's trolling.
Confusing. Number 2, aubergine. Now, I've heard it all before. Oh, you say aubergine? Little British pommy boy? You can't even say eggplant? What? What do you mean, eggplant? Honestly, this one sounds fake, and the thing is, I know that Australians, I know this now from living here for over a year and a half, they love being Australian. They're very patriotic, and so to say eggplant, which to me sounds very, very American, I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised, that's all I'm saying. We say aubergine because we speak properly. Can't put that in. But eggplant? No way. What, you're telling me that plant outside in the pot is sprouting out eggs for free? You're telling me I don't ever need to go to the shops again? You're telling me that I can save my £5 when I want to buy a 12-pack of large eggs from Aldi? Thank you very much. Now, mate, it's what we call an aubergine. But eggplant, I actually found out, comes from Americans naming it based on the plant's appearance, which explains it, but it doesn't quite justify it. Because to me, this does not look in any way like an egg. Speaking of snacks, let's ruin another one. Number 3, crisps is what we call it in the UK. Now this one causes immediate chaos. Now in the UK, crisps are crisps. Chips are chips. In Australia, they are called chips. Or if you're my wife, chippies. Now I have ordered the wrong thing more times than I care to admit. If you order a lovely toasty or a panini in an Australian cafe and you ask for chips on the side, you might actually get crisps. Now this is less of a difference and more of a trap. It's almost like you guys knew that I love a hot chip and that I'd rather not have a crisp with my toasty. And it's like you're out to get me. maybe you are. I'm starting to become a conspiracy theorist. But I must say, right, I actually have no problem with talking Aussie English because I love it. And also, I'm in your country, so how dare I come in to your country and go, no, this is wrong. No, it should be called this. That would be ridiculous and very arrogant of me. And to be honest, I fell in love with my wife. The first thing that made me fall in love with her was her accent and was the way she said different words. And I thought it was really exciting. Even exotic, which might sound ridiculous, but that's how I saw her. Now let me present you with something that has no official name, unless you come to Australia. Number 4, a sausage in a piece of bread is what we would call this. We call any sausage in a finger roll, we call this a hot dog. Right, any guesses what Australians call this? Snag in bread, or sausage sizzle. And I say this because my wife, if she's recommending any easy dinner options, she'll be like, let's have a sausage sizzle, which means you fry up a load of snags, sausages, and you put them in white fluffy pieces of bread. But if I didn't know any better, I would call this sausage bread or a sausage roll, sans pastry. But none of these are correct. Aussies say, nah mate, this is a snag, and we put it in bread and we eat it and it's good. Also, it's the national food of fundraising here. Often many Bunnings hardware stores in Australia, they have a sausage sizzle outside run by people raising money for charity, and they're often quite cheap. And also you have the democracy sausage where you go vote and then you get your snag in your bread, and it's a democracy sausage. Isn't that called Democracy Manifest?
Democracy Manifest.
Anyway, now we move on to desserts, and this is where things get personal. Number 5, vanilla slice is what we would call this in the UK. We have a lot of, French culture in the UK. But you come to Australia, you come up to the baker in the bakery, as you'd expect, and you say, can I have a vanilla slice, please? And after a few moments of deciphering what you mean, they go, oh, you mean a snot block? I do not mean that. What the hell is that? I was not emotionally prepared for this, right? I hear snot block, right? And I don't want to eat it. Look at this photo, right? This is a vanilla slice. That's what we call it in the UK. If I wanted to really imagine this was filled with the mucus of some person's nose, I could kind of see a resemblance. But now that's all I've got in my head. So I'm standing in line for the bakery thinking, oh, I haven't had a vanilla slice for a while. Maybe I'll get one. And then remembering it's a snot block here. And then I get the image of the man with the snot. And I go, no, I don't want to. Don't want to order it. And he says, why are you shouting at me? Sorry, I thought this all in my head. Didn't realise I was verbalising. Now, honestly, I think a lot of Aussies agree with me on this. My wife, who's quite posh.
There's a lot to learn, man. So many different terms there. It's English, but it's not English at the same time because the terms are different. They're not going to understand what you're saying, and you're going to order the wrong thing. So, this is an eye-opener for real.
I might say, quite posh Brisbane girl. She would call it a vanilla slice. I know all my South Australians, a lot of you guys, I know you would call it a vanilla slice. So this is quite a polarising one. Others refuse because they've got a bit of class. But I love that Australians have a proud tradition of naming foods in the most unappealing way possible. Now, let's talk about sausages again. Just briefly, number 6, Frankfurter. Frankfurter is the classic sausage you get in the long, watery jar. Your mum would tell you they're made out of all sorts of bits that you just shouldn't eat, but if you were really good that month, she might order you a Frankfurter at your Hungry Horse pub. Anyone remember Hungry Horses in the UK? Give me a shout. But this one feels backwards because in Australia, they call it a hot dog. What? Now I'm confused. To us Brits, a hot dog is just a sausage in a roll. But now specifically the Frankfurter sausage. But in Australia, it's just a hot dog, mate. Don't overcomplicate it. And again, this feels very American influence to me. Is that just me? Because I know in America that generally when you order a hot dog, the Frankfurter sausage is what you get. Again, no problem with it because honestly, if I think of a hot dog now, Australians have completely influenced me and I do just think of a Frankfurter sausage. And then we move on to probably the most controversial one of the video, an ice cream float. An ice cream float is where you take generally, in my opinion, Coca-Cola or cream soda. Not cream in soda, cream soda, and you whack in a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Of course, it's interchangeable. I had an obsession as a kid. This was really weird. Dandelion and burdock soda, if you've ever had it, it's very British, has a very kind of aniseedy taste to it. And I'd whack in 2 scoops of the cheapest vanilla ice cream you would get from like Asda. And I would do this 2 or 3 times a night. Really bad. I was in like year 7 or 8, so I definitely shouldn't have been doing it. Now, the Australians call this a spider. This is not a reassuring name in Australia, but it is very on brand. It is kind of living up to the stereotype of, oh, Australia, spiders, snakes. Now I imagine, Aussies, correct me if I'm wrong again, the spider comes from the effect of how the vanilla ice cream trickles throughout the soda. It gives this cool spider legs effect, or maybe even spider web effect, how it's dribbling through the drink. Dribbling's a horrible word. But this brings me on to the drink that ruined my trust forever. Number 8, ice cream, coffee, milkshake, or a frappuccino if you're mainly using water and powder. This is exactly what we would call it in the UK. This one has genuinely hurt me because Australians call it an iced coffee. Oh no. Also, if I did want a coffee milkshake and I use the correct Australian phrase of please can I have a iced coffee, when I have done that in the past on a one-off, I have got the strangest.
Man, it's like 2 different worlds right there. Like, it's confusing. I'm listening to this and I'm confused right there. Like, are you kidding me? Damn. But most of those things, I'm not really a fan of, like, eating them. So I will be ordering it. For someone who likes most of those things on the menu, they're gonna have maybe a bad experiences when they order it because they're gonna be ordering the wrong thing. They better make sure, or at least look at the menu and point and tell them you want this, because if you don't do that, you may get something that's slightly different or vastly different. Yeah, you're gonna have a problem there.
Look before, almost like, mate, you're too old to be ordering that. Mate, I've been working all week. I've worked hard for my money. If I want some ice cream in my coffee milkshake, if I want to feel like a 10-year-old boy again, I have earned that right. Whereas in the UK, we refer to an iced coffee as an iced Americano, or an iced long black is what you would call it in Australia. But for some reason, that translation hasn't crossed over the pond here. Do you know how many times I've accidentally ordered a black coffee with 4 scoops of ice cream in it? Really winding me up. Now, I love an ice cream, right? But that's not how I want to start my morning. I love Australia, I love Aussies, but this one just can't get behind. Now let's talk fruit, especially here in Queensland. Number 9 is cantaloupe. This is what we call it in the UK. It's a type of melon. I must admit, cantaloupe is a strange word. Now, I don't know if this is because my Australian virginity was taken by Queenslanders. Can I put that in the video? But here in Queensland, Australia, it's rockmelon. At first, I did not believe. I thought you're having me on, but after a year and a half of living here, I kind of prefer it. Awkward to my British people. I like it a lot. I like rockmelon. It sounds tastier in my brain. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, there's a crow outside, so that's what you're hearing. Now, to be fair, it does look like a rock if, you know, an expert chiseler, definitely not the name for it, carved it into a ball. Cantaloupe, it does sound a bit pretentious, sorry, and it does sound a little bit, ooh, I'm trying to be a bit cool. And finally, this word I've discovered needs very careful handling. Number 10, cocktail sausage. Sorry, did I just pause in between cock and tail then? Right, in Australia, Aussies call this generally a Cheerio. What? Another one that even after assimilating, I'd like to think I've assimilated here, I just haven't been able to get behind. Do you want a little Cheerio? A little bowl of Cheerios for your 28th birthday party? Don't remind me I'm turning 28 next year. Hello, my wife.
How'd you do?
Why on earth do you call a cocktail sausage a Cheerio?
Why do I call it a Cheerio? Did it say on Google?
No, I don't Google in these videos.
I call it a Cheerio because that's what my mum calls it.
I mean, that's fair.
But she's from Victoria.
Oh, wait.
It's a brand.
I've just Googled it. AI is saying Cheerio cocktail sausages are small, pre-cooked, bright red mini sausages known for their mild flavour and often called cocktail Frankfurts. So I guess they taste like a Frankfurter?
When you see the bowl of Cheerios on the table at the kids' party that you're going to as a child, it's the best day ever. I love it.
So you're telling me I'll never experience that in my life?
Well, you're a vegetarian, so probably not.
I just... yeah. But in the UK, a cocktail sausage is the same size, they're a bit thinner, and they taste like the pork meat you would get in a sausage roll in the UK, but they're cold.
Yes, this is true. But you can eat them hot or cold here, and you boil them. Have you spoken about that?
That's disgusting.
Boil them.
This video gave me a headache. Very informative, but it gave me a headache. My goodness, I didn't know the different terms. Really different. The UK and Australia, it's vastly different. I mean, this is like night and day. I don't know if we just took the ones that are vastly different the most. I don't know if this is a common theme. All these went out of the way to make sure that they don't have the same words to another country, especially the UK. Like, they were trying to be different. Like the way that they name things. I mean, some names make sense. Some of the terms are kind of like straightforward, no sugar coating, and they try to put different elements in the names. They want it to be unique, and they are unique. And my goodness, if they gave me those things, those words on a test paper, I probably would have gotten at least 7 wrong. I'm not gonna lie, because wow, a Cheerio, man, I'm gonna think it's breakfast, man. And pour the milk in the Cheerios. That's what I'm gonna think. Maybe the spelling might give it away. That's the only thing. But I would still say maybe it was a misprint. Yeah. So wow. If you want to see that long shot outro that I do, hit me over on Dyce Reactions. This is where I'm gonna be making my exits. Until next time, peace out.